Hi, my name is Liz Such, and I am the researcher on the evaluation and continuous learning part of CIPHER. And what I'm going to do in the next few minutes is just describe to you how we actioned our commitment to continuous learning and evaluation throughout the 5 years. So I'm covering the question, how did we learn to work together as a consortium? So here I'm going to focus on two things. I'm focusing on working across the research policy divide and working across disciplines, so working in an interdisciplinary way. And then we're going to look at the two things together. So, what did we learn from working between disciplines, and what did we learn about working across the research policy divide? What are the general or generic lessons we can learn? So, firstly, then, working across the research policy divide. Here we learned that that we didn't essentially have a playbook to begin with. So we didn't start off with an instruction manual of how to do this policy research collaboration. We very much learned by doing. We became more co-productive over time. Key aspects of that co-production were being flexible, adaptable, agile, developing really strong facilitation skills between us, and being masters of timing. So knowing when to move close to policy or move close to research and when to move away and get down to what we needed to do in substantive work terms before going back to policy or going back to research to share that knowledge. We had embedded researchers in CIPHER, and they were inside policy organisations, and that was a real benefit to ensuring that bridge between the research, the technical aspects, and the policy environment, so that there was a whole understanding across the consortium. We became quite pragmatic throughout the programme, and that was partly because we were being challenged with external factors that were outside of our control. So things like COVID really affected how we functioned, but we became quite pragmatic about what to achieve, being faced with particular challenges at particular times, how to answer them. We also had a really important element of working across the research policy divide, which was having some citizen input to make sure that we were grounded in reality, we were grounded in everyone's lived experience. But this really required focus, and that's been carried forward into subsequent projects. We also identified that analysts within government organisations, either local or national or regional, were really good conduits for, again, bridging the research policy divide. So that's what we learned about research and policy. And also, what did we learn about interdisciplinarity? Well, again, we made considerable progress on this over time. We made sure that we took opportunities to share knowledge and skills throughout the programme. It was very much a slow grow over the 5 years. We worked in an iterative way, so we interacted as disciplines when most appropriate and in an iterative fashion, so going to and from different disciplines and specialisms. And we certainly recognise the huge value of face-to-face work. The full team meetings at regular intervals were really valued to understand where we were coming from, to build that shared understanding and common language. We, throughout the programme, built institutional capacity for that interdisciplinary working. That was an outcome in itself. And it was really important for many people's own personal development to have that experience of working across disciplines. So how do we bring these things together, and how did we bring them into common learning points from CIPHER? So we certainly learned that we needed time and resource, and that was one of the benefits of a 5-year programme. We needed that time to build a common understanding, and it's certainly worth investing time, especially at the initial stages and at regular intervals, but certainly at the beginning in doing that collaborative working, building a shared language, building common understanding about what people's backgrounds are, what their interests are, how they see the world, going right back to some of the basics. There's also value in knowing when to connect, when to stand back, and having people like embedded researchers to bridge divides. But really, it was something that all of us took on in CIPHER as interdisciplinary researchers or as researchers working in policy environments. Okay, thanks very much for listening.